Hi and good morning. Um, I hope everybody is doing well this morning, and just enjoying looking outside, enjoying these wee hours, um, and a time for contemplation, meditation, and I'm just struck every morning about how formless this time of the day is, and that really all things are possible in these early hours. And the day hasn't really set a firm path yet, and so it's a really rich time to just be in a real spacious place. And what a beautiful time to be in a meditation practice together. Yesterday, as has been my practice for a number of months, and especially now with our current situation socially, is to go on a few just walks, not just for health and fitness, but also creative walks where I'm just listening in to creativity, to spur creativity. And as I was walking and enjoying the sunshine, I was reflecting and listening into what would be helpful to say or to share before our meditation this morning, as I was looking forward to that. And what came to me was this notion of meditation as a way to cultivate center. And as I was walking, I kept thinking about what is meditation, what has it offered over the years? And it's offered many things. It's offered health and wellness. When I think about that, I'm just more centered throughout the day. My emotions are more balanced and fluid throughout the day. If something startles me or surprises me, I can feel that, but then I can come back to center much more easily just by calling back the memory of that morning and what I felt like. So there certainly is a health benefit, mental emotional benefit to meditation. There's also this community benefit. For about 7.5 years, I led a meditation class, and it was beautiful to just sit with others on Fridays at noon. Those of you that sat with me, you can recall those memories with me. They're very fond memories of all the practices and all the time in silence. So there's real community piece and social piece, and I guess that's the beauty of meditation right now. Is when we're out there, meditation is something we can be 6 feet apart and still be in community together. So my hope is that meditation circles are continuing to happen within the healthy boundaries that we're all observing. And then it also can become a spiritual practice. There are many spiritual traditions that incorporate meditation. I have friends from all different faith traditions, including people that connect more with nature as their sense of spirituality, and everybody can sit in silence. We can all sit in this space, and when I say spiritual, I mean you can find meaning, you can connect meaning to it. So this notion of finding, cultivating center through meditation, as I reflected on that, it occurred to me that to share is, one of our hardwired survival responses when we are provoked or our safety is threatened in some way, and is biologically what we do is we tend to we feel this arousal this emotional arousal. Our body, we start to orient to the environment first broadly, and then we try to narrow in where that threat is, and then ideally we have a successful response that restores our sense of safety and connection. And those hardwired responses in us, very simply put, are to fight, flight, or freeze. And those are hardwired in us. And so when we're under pressure, we retrieve one of those responses, and we try to garner our safety and our connection and our dignity through accessing that. And we are uniquely human, and we have this capacity to take this next step that other creatures just can't do, and that is the ability to pause. I think Viktor Frankl said it best in his book, A Man's Search for Meaning, was that between the stimulus and the response, human beings, we have a space. We can create a space. And in that space lies our ability to choose our response. And it is in those choices that lie our growth and our happiness. That's powerful. That's a powerful statement, is that there's a stimulus, and then there's our response, our hardwired responses of fight, flight, freeze. And human beings, we have the ability, this unique ability, to create a pause, a space, to choose our response, to imagine our response. And in that space lies the ability to use imagination. It lies the ability to use our conscience. There is the ability to use our resolve, access our resolve, and access our self-awareness, and specifically our somatic awareness. So we can become aware of the thoughts that are running through our thinking mind. We can become aware of the emotion that is living in our body, and we can name it. We can become aware of the sensations that are running through our autonomic nervous system in terms of temperature, movement, texture, felt sense of weight, felt sense of shape, and shape, length, width, depth. We can become aware of all of that during that pause. And as I reflect back on my journey with meditation and contemplation, it has certainly created that capacity in me, is the ability to pause and access those very uniquely human abilities to become self-aware. And in that space, and I come from a somatic tradition, and so this ability to feel into ourselves intrapersonally, we are able to become self-aware, self-sensing, self-moving, self-educating, self-generating, and self-healing. And so I just, I'm aware of this, I practice this, and whenever I share it, I become even more conscious of how powerful that is, this uniquely human ability to create space between the stimulus and the response. There is no other creature on this planet that can create that kind of pause using that kind of imagination. And so, at least that I know of. So it's just, it's really powerful to realize that this is in you, this is in me. And we can create a larger and larger space between what happens to us and our response to it. and we can actually change our future. We don't have to just be a set of old behavior patterns. We can be fresh. We can be creative. And that is in me, that is in you, and that is in us all. And I can't think of a time where it's more critical for us to access that pause button and start to tap into our self-awareness, tap into our creativity, our imagination, and create the new ways of being in the world that are going to rise to the challenge. So I wanted to share that today, and just bring that forward, that meditation, this very simple 1-minute meditation that we're practicing, gives us the ability to start actually cultivating the capacity to pause. And then from there, before I mentioned our hardwired response is, our hardwired survival response is arousal, no pause, we orient, and then we have a successful response. What we can start to do is we can start to feel that emotional charge, that arousal. We can learn to center ourselves, create that pause, become aware of all that internal information, really, and then we can then start to face in to the situation as it is and create a successful response from this new, more aware state. So that's my hope for you and for me, is that we all continue to cultivate this pause in our day-to-day lives, and collectively create this as a nation, as a world, because these are human capacities that we all have, and we can develop them, and we're doing that this morning. So let's begin. Let's begin with our meditation together. Let's start first by, wherever you are, standing, sitting, laying down. I invite you to start by relaxing your eyes, relaxing your jaw, relaxing your neck. Let's bring our shoulders up and drop them, feeling into our shoulders. Bring your shoulders up, clench your fists, and then feeling in to your hands and shoulders, opening your chest, relaxing your diaphragm, so feeling into the lower border of your rib cage, large breathing muscle, breathing into your belly. Relaxing your pelvis, relaxing your thighs, and we're relaxing our knees, our calves, our feet, and just starting to create space, creating space in our bodies, creating that pause button, and becoming aware. Notice your mood right now. As I feel into my mood right now, just to share a bit, I feel a sense of gratitude. As I feel into the sensations that are moving through my body, I feel a sense of coolness on the surface of my skin. I feel a felt sense of slightly expanding here in my office. In terms of movement, I feel a tingling through my arms and legs. As far as my felt sense of weight, I feel slightly heavy. And I feel a sense of smoothness I feel tall through my vertical line. I feel mostly open through my width from left to right. And I feel slightly back in my depth. So just notice what you're feeling in terms of the thoughts that are moving through your conscious mind, and become aware of your mood, and become aware of the sensations that are moving through your body. All of them are information, and your full intelligence when we gain access to them. So let's continue with our meditation. I invite you to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, remind yourself, for the sake of what that you're doing the practice. In other words, set your intention. We'll enter in with the words of Rumi again. Be empty of worrying. Think who created the thought. Why do you stay in prison when the door is wide open? Move outside the tangle of fear, thinking. Live in silence, flowing down and down into always widening rings of being. Be empty of worrying. Think who created the thought. Why do you stay in prison when the door is wide open? Move outside the tangle of fear, thinking. Live in silence, flowing down and down into always widening rings of being. And as we close our practice this morning, remind yourself again, for the sake of what that you did the practice. And then on your next exhale, slowly begin to move your arms and your legs. and very slowly and very gently begin to open your eyes and let the outside world come back in again. And as we close for today, take a moment to notice your mood right now, and if that has shifted since the beginning of our time together this morning. I know my mood has really gone into and shifted into a very relaxed and grounded place. And that is through what we all created together through this practice. So may we all continue to cultivate this space between the stimulus and the response, and open up to all the information and really cultivate our unique human ability to choose our response, to imagine our response, to take in all the information, the full wisdom of our body, of our mind, and bring forward the new creative ideas that the world so desperately needs. So blessings to you all, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Goodbye for now.